from Abuja.
Hello, thank you for being a part of our show. We appreciate you. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and this is Magnus Kpakol GVA, Global Views Africa. As always, it's all about how we can raise the level of living. That's what it's all about. In view today, the economic power of the diaspora for Nigeria. Today we pick up on our discussions earlier with Folashade Aliu, a Nigerian, and David Hunter, an African-American, on the importance of the diaspora. But before that, in our hidden economics, how to tear up a lion. Now up next in our quick view, we see how some countries rank in palm oil production. That's coming right up. It is generally agreed that the oil palm originated in the tropical rainforest region of West Africa. The main belt runs through the southern latitudes of Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Togo, and into the equatorial region of Angola and the Congo. Global palm oil market was valued at about $61 billion in 2014. Growing demand from diverse end-use industries is expected to remain a key driving factor for the global market. In this connection, which of the following countries is the biggest producer of palm oil in Africa? Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Cameroon. Which of the following countries is the biggest producer globally? Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Colombia. Stay with us for our answers coming up shortly. Still in view, the economic power of the diaspora. But up next in our hidden economics, how to tear up a lion. If you come across a lion, say a mountain lion, the most important thing is not to run, as this will make you seem like prey and could trigger a predatory response from the lion. Face the animal so that it knows you have seen it. It would also know that you are ready to fight. If you have to retreat, back away slowly. And if the lion comes toward you, raise your arms or open your coat, if you are wearing one, to make yourself appear larger. This will usually deter a mountain lion. If you are attacked, it is possible to convince the animal to look for an easier victim by fighting back as best as you can, going for sensitive areas like poking it in the eyes and punching it in the nose. This can convince the animal that you are not an easy target. Even the lion doesn't want to risk injury, as this could leave it unable to hunt. The Holy Bible has the story of Samson and of how he tore up a young lion with his bare hands, when the lion stood in his way as he went to see a beautiful Philistine girl he really liked and wanted to marry. The lion came roaring, expecting Samson to turn around and run so that it would easily claw him down from behind. The question is, why would anyone want to even go by the way of such potential danger, let alone actually taking on a lion? The reason? There must be a compelling desire to get something on the other side. For Samson, it was because of the love of the girl he wanted for a wife. In politics, it must be an incredible desire to pursue a cause and achieve an objective, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela did for their peoples. Unfortunately, it may also be for personal gain, as we see sometimes in some cases of desperate politics. Therefore, in politics, the electorate will do well to see what the politician is really fighting for. Now, bear in mind that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela actually tore up their lions. the lions were killed, and Barack Obama, a man of African heritage, became president of the United States. South Africa became a rainbow society in victory over apartheid. To tear up a lion, you must face it, because your fighting tools are on the front side of your body, not on the back side. It is inefficient, futile, and even hopeless to fight with your back turned in flight. When soldiers in battle retreat, they are still facing the enemy. In battle, it is more costly and can be even cataclysmic to turn your back to the enemy. It is less costly to face the lion if you want to tear it up. Our hidden economics for you. Before we start our discussion, here are our quick view answers. Nigeria, with an estimated 970,000 metric tons of production in 2015, is the largest producer of palm oil in Africa. Indonesia, with an estimated 33 million metric tons of production in 2015, is the largest producer of palm oil in the world. For comments, adverts, and sponsorship, please see our information displayed on the screen. As we know, the African American diaspora has a purchasing power of well over $1 trillion US. We also know that the Nigerian diaspora has really been sending home annually well over $20 billion US. To help us discuss how economically important the diaspora is to Nigeria, we will pick up on our recent discussions with David Hunter and Folashade Aliu. David Hunter is a well-known producer, director, arranger, and entrepreneur who is working to connect Africa to the world. Folashade Aliu is president and CEO of Alpha Digitals Limited. Ms. Aliu has businesses in both the United States and Nigeria. Please join me in our separate discussions with David Hunter and Folashade Aliu. All right, David, we're happy to have you in our studio.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm going to your studio. Two things. The Africans that are in the United States, let's say Nigerian Americans, right, and Kenyan Americans and all of that. I'm not so sure that they are deliberately, maybe they're too engaged in survival, trying to survive themselves. But I'm not sure that there is a good deliberate effort to engage the African American community as to get started, so as to then introduce them back home. I mean, we talk about how would these guys come home? How would they know more about Africa? Right. But then you got these Africans that are there already. Right. Well, should it be that they get together first and know each other and share? Yeah. I know it's happening a little bit. Yeah. But I'm thinking that I want to see a more publicized show of it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that's exactly what needs to happen, because at the end of the day, what we're seeing is that we're so distracted with so many other things that these kinds of channels go overlooked. Yeah. These kind of needs go overlooked. These kind of opportunities go overlooked so many times because we're so focused on, like you said, survival. Yeah. We're so focused on trying to be quote unquote relevant, to people that honestly don't have our best interests at heart, or the best interest of our children at heart, the best interest of our futures at heart. Yeah. So, but we're still doing our best. We're still trying to, beat what they call, we're trying to be relevant in the race, so to speak. But these opportunities, just staring right here, we have these, saying these opportunities, say, okay, listen, you can come, we can use your help. We can help you, but you first have to come. Yeah.
So now, before as we try to round up here, the Africans, with the Chinese are coming here. Some people call it the second partition of Africa by the Chinese. They come to get raw materials and natural resources, and they go. So shouldn't we really, maybe the African leaders should go out of their way to discuss this at the African Union, to say, we have expertise in the diaspora. can we get these people to come? Let's make it a matter of policy to get them to come in the areas of technology, of science, and all that, to see what better uses we can put our own natural resources than to just wait for the Chinese to come.
Absolutely.
To tell us what to do with it.
Absolutely. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, I think it's a mandate. It's almost a mandate, a call because anybody that controls the most plentiful piece of land controls the world. And if you control the resources, you control the world. And so that's why everybody's coming here, because this is the most plentiful continent on the earth. That's just what it is. And so everyone's trying to come here because they recognize that once they're able to take the resources, they can control. So the thing is that we need to be very, very instrumental, very intentional about doing what we can to preserve our resources here on this continent, because that's pretty much they're taking the resources. I mean, like even the little mineral that makes our phone vibrate, that mineral only grows here. And I mean, if we own the patent on that, I almost don't think there'd be any poverty anywhere, to be very transparent. I mean, if we own the patent on that little mineral that makes the phones vibrate. Those kind of things, we gotta become a little bit more intentional about that and finding out ways to use these technologies to empower our people. Africa needs to be ready to receive a lot of African Americans back to the continent. Because I got a feeling that in the not too distant future, you're gonna see a mass exodus, and return to this continent.
It's happening to some extent in some countries now.
But I mean, but it's not spoken of. You know what I mean? Like, we're flooded right now.
Publicized.
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking at the American, obviously the presidential debate in America. That's on television more than anything that I'm seeing happening in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So, I mean, these are the kind of things that we have to then be very intentional about changing. Give our people something to grab a hold of and say, oh, I can be a part of that. And participate in that. And they'll come. I believe that they will.
Because I think that in that regard, I think, for example, even at the federal level here in Nigeria, that you could have a president appoint an African American as minister. I mean, for example, as a minister of, we talked about that before, as minister of trade and investments. Somebody who is like entrenched in the system in, say, New York City.
Absolutely.
And you bring him in as your minister of trade, and he knows how to pull people in.
Absolutely. And just like anything, it's marketing as well. How do you market something? And I think that once Africa is marketed, quote unquote, if I can use that sensitively, in a way that is honest, transparent, without, putting different kinds of spins on it, but like, no, this is where we are. And people can see the successes. I believe that our people will come. Absolutely.
But people like, let me give credit. First of all, people like Andrew Young. Andrew Young, I mean, he's old now, but I met him and he came here several times. Very passionate about Africa, developing Africa. But I'm not sure. Some of the younger guys that are high up there, say in government or whatever, in business, I'm not sure that they're coming on their own like people like
the thing is,
Andy Young did.
They are coming. It's just that just like anything, you almost have to know who's coming. And I think that's another way that we have to probably try to create a network that allows African Americans to say, when you're coming into the country and you're doing a particular project or some type of work, come through this channel, so that other businesses and other entrepreneurs and politicians know that you're coming through, and so that we can use your expertise. But at the same time too, that these people that are coming can also learn. Because it's not necessarily always about Americans coming to Africa to help Africa, but Africa can also help us.
Absolutely, it has to be mutually.
It has to be mutual, absolutely. Because one of the things that we don't have, while some of us try to be cocky about, we're in America. Truth of the matter is, we don't have any identity. And that's one of the things that, I believe is almost like a sickness in our culture, because we don't have a reference point. Whereas, when I come here, one of the things that you all take a lot of pride in is what tribe you're from. You know your history. And most of us don't have that privilege. And so without knowing our history, we're going to be bound to repeat the same mistakes. So that's why I'm saying, and I'll say it again, it's just that Africa needs to be prepared to receive, all these, African Americans that are going to be coming.
Well, David, On that note, I want to thank you so very much.
It's an honor.
You are wonderful.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful, sir.
Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Good job. Well, thank you for staying with us. Right, Falashade, we want to thank you for being in our studio. We have to recognize, it seems to me, that if we make the Nigerian in the diaspora stronger, that they are better able to engage the larger society, and they're better able to influence the behavior of the larger society.
Yes.
And that behavior can go all the way into the government, to their senators, the members of the House of Representatives, the president. The president could be somebody well known by the Nigerian community because they're influencing them through campaign funding and whatever. So I think that it is important, it seems to me, that we have a good policy attention paid to our guys out there.
You know, first what came to mind was the bilateral agreements that we're having all over the world.
Yeah.
We have these ceremonial sessions and talk about it, but you find that a lot of times nothing really is done to benefit Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, and who can really drive the value added and look at the content of the agreement and see how we can use those resources back home, you know, to help the government. The people in the host countries, there's hardly anywhere we all know that you will go, you don't find Nigerians. And like I said, now it's good that we're organized and doing better. Some people, not just ethnic groups, you know, we have a lot of Nigerian professional groups. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But now the government needs to be able to realize that they have a role in galvanizing those, especially the professionals. How can they put them in a situation where they can be the follow-up, the highs and the hairs of the government outside?
Sure.
If you want to build the image of Nigeria outside this country, it is not on television, it is not on newspaper. You have to put some things in place that Nigerians in those host countries can key into and help you. And it goes, I mean, even if you're talking in the political arena, it is the Nigerians, I believe, that are on ground that can help you, sell you as a government, that our government, this and this and this, these are the values that they can bring.
They are ambassadors.
And they are the ambassadors. You know, most of the people in the consulate and embassies, I'm not saying they are not doing their job, but we have to be able to work together to complement what they're doing.
Yes.
You know, so
now, you know, you talked about this communities, the ethnic groups, you know, that set up their organizations. But an area that I've often thought about also is communities. As you know, is the aggregation of communities that makes up a nation.
Okay.
So that you are in Osun State and you are from a particular community, why can that community, say the local government in Osun State, go look for their doctors and scientists and lawyers and whatever outside and identify them, get a database of these kinds of people and see how these guys might help to contribute towards development in Osun State, in that community in Osun State. I'm not aware of any particular community that's doing this very well, but I think it's important that we start to want to do that.
Well, some communities, I know that some communities are doing that already, but it's just that when you do it at the state level, you know, it becomes very...
At the community level.
I know you're saying, I'm just saying that the most you hear right now is the state level.
Yes.
I know a lot of communities, you know, from Southeast, from Southwest, and, you know, of course, from Kwara State, where I'm from, a lot of communities coming together to do things to impact their communities in different areas, whether redoing, renovating schools or redoing their hospitals or doing some kind of, but we have to go beyond that. You know, that's why we said, okay, each of the communities, please keep the profile of each person, whether the person is a professional or not.
That's what I'm saying.
You understand?
Because what I understand
is
the people out there, they get together on their own and they want to help their community back home. But I'm not aware of the local governments here having it as a matter of policy.
I don't know of
to have a database of stuff and see this is what we're planning, this is what we're projecting, this is the role they play. I'm not aware of that. That's the point.
Even one of the days, one of the years that we were doing the diaspora conference here in Nigeria, I know we used to advertise to state and sometimes local governments that they need to come and find out the people, because on the application it asks you for your state and your local government.
Absolutely.
Your registration, I'm sorry. And we will advertise that state governments and local government people should come and meet the people. I mean, you start the relationship somewhere. But a lot of times you find that it's just a very handful of them that will come to say, we want to know the people from Anambra State or from Kano State or from Lagos State. I mean, I think Lagos State, they've been doing a lot better at the state level because of the population. But I think that's one of the areas we need to work on. And like you're saying, the database we're talking about, you don't have to wait for everybody to go online. From these communities, you can collect the data, the database of their members and do something with it. But when people ask you, what do you want to do? When we are asking the people from the embassies and consulates, what are you doing? What are we going to use this database? They don't have an answer for you. And Nigerians, when they don't get the answer, it's like, okay, maybe we're not sure you have to. So we need to work together to make sure we really make it a value added, because it's going to help everybody, both at home and abroad.
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I want to thank you so very much.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. To Africans, President Barack Obama is the most significant African diasporan. Clearly, the potential economic contribution of President Obama to Africa is huge. Already, he has demonstrated this when in 2014, he assembled the largest ever contingent of African heads of state in Washington, D.C. in a U.S.-Africa summit. It was the first time the United States ever hosted a summit of that magnitude for representatives from Africa. In 2013, President Obama launched Power Africa, an innovative partnership to double access to electricity in sub-Saharan Africa, where more than 600 million people currently lack access. During the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in 2014, President Obama reaffirmed that Power Africa was for all of sub-Saharan Africa and tripled Power Africa's goals to work towards adding 30,000 megawatts of new, cleaner electricity generation capacity and increasing electricity access by at least 60 million new connections. As seen in President Buhari's efforts, I believe that Nigeria will tap into this Power Africa program and use it as one of the tools for engaging the African diaspora in developing Nigeria. One of the great benefits I believe the African diaspora can offer is linkage to foreign direct investment that will bring high-quality tools and jobs to the country. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and that's my view.
I